Nigerian girl child, just like others in some parts of the world, faces barriers to education caused by poverty, cultural norms and practices, poor infrastructure, or violence. For the most vulnerable, a combination of these factors make it difficult for the Nigerian girl to complete her education and acquire skills to effectively compete in the labor market. In recent times, thanks to the several advocacy organizations, the narrative is gradually changing. Today, 45% of high school graduating students are girls, as against the 7.7% in 2001. But the struggle is far from over. Girls still face the threat of sexual abuse, child marriage, and discrimination. Even if a young woman completes her education, there are still obstacles to confront in the workplace. When does this struggle end? To discuss this with me today is a woman who has served Nigeria in different capacities. She's a chartered accountant, a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Management, amongst other reputable organizations, a former director with the Central Bank of Nigeria, an executive council member of WIMBIS, an ICANN Abuja, an author, and a motivational speaker. Please welcome Mrs. Tope Omange. Thank you for joining me on Total Woman.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Olori.
Thank you. All right, so you excelled in your chosen career despite the fact that you're a woman. And it was very difficult at that time for women to achieve such great feats. How did you do it?
Well, like you said, we are not about to see the end of it. It's the same thing world over. Women struggle. Even the UN has, acknowledged the fact that not only is gender equality a fundamental human right, but it is also necessary for progress, for wealth, and for sustainable growth of the world. So it is something that has been. And like you said, NGOs, awareness, advocacy, all of it is helping. Central Bank, at the beginning, women were employed just as note counters. After some time, as secretaries. Even then, they were not employed as secretaries because they just didn't want them to do a man's job. Later, secretary. Later, they brought them into research because they could write. Gradually, we celebrated the first female director. For your information, I was the first female finance director. So at least we were breaking the glass ceiling. When we had the first female DG, it was something great. We were actually looking forward to a female governor. But that aside, those days, men or the family assumed that the women will go change their names or they will marry early, and they wanted good return on their investments. So not many people wanted to train girls. But realization came that in the later life, it was more of girls that trained both parents. And they now realized it wasn't so worthless, but it will take a lot of effort. UN says over 750 women were married under the age of 18, while over 200 have experienced one form of sexual abuse or the other. You shield yourself, you defend yourself when you are empowered, when you are enlightened. And that is why we, as women and the society, have to do more. Times are changing. We have 35% affirmation in Nigeria.
Which worldwide, no country.
We are working towards it.
No country.
But I must give kudos. I must give kudos to the Central Bank, because with the Bankers Committee, we set up a guideline that 30% women must be on boards and 35% must be in top management. Access Bank trailed the blaze. They had the first female chairperson And now we have about 5, you know, female chairpersons. On the board, we have a lot of women. So somebody has to take the first step. And in CBN, the governor then, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, he wanted to show example. He felt his mom was a woman, and when you empower a woman, you empower a whole community.
But so what was it easy, rosy for you where you growing up to go to school? Because for you to have been able to attain, you know, being the first director, it's huge. Was it so easy?
No, first female finance director. There were directors female before me. Well, it wasn't easy, but I would just say I was privileged. Because when you enjoy privilege, say you enjoy privilege, because nobody can do it on their own. If you are supported, if you enjoy support, you know, move faster than the person who does it all by himself. My parents were educated, so they know the value of education, and they knew the value of education, and they gave us, you know, quality education. It wasn't as if they could afford it, even though they were educated, but they sacrificed because to them, education was priority. I remember one very vivid incident. We were returning to school, St. Anne's those days. We went to Edo line, it was then Midwest line. We got there, my father asked my mother, where's the transport fare? She didn't have, he didn't have, they had to pack us back home. But those are all experiences. You know, we had to manage clothes, we had to eat, but my father said to us, what I owe you is education. And he made sure we got that education. And that's why today I want to advise women. Asoebi, not necessary. Makeup, not until after you have empowered your children. And don't separate girls from boys. This discrimination and gender imbalance is because we treat girls differently, boys differently. You put all the investment in the girls to go and be good wives. What about the boys?
To be good
you
husbands.
Don't wear a designer shirt on slippers. If you are preparing the girls for a good home, also prepare the guys. That way, together, they know the value of the girls, they know the value of the boys.
Amazing, amazing. Wow. So let's look at all the years you spent being in management position. Was it that easy for you to be able to get along with your counterparts or subordinates as a woman?
Well, we can only try. You know, society has sold this lie to us that women are women's worst enemy. So if you learn early in life that you cannot do anything alone, then you make effort to cooperate. When men quarrel in the office, they go and settle it over a bottle of drink. But let me just say that the society does not even make it easy for women. When a woman smiles at a man, they will say she's flirting with everybody in the office. But a man can afford to go around with all the girls. A man can afford to do things gruff, but they say that woman, she's not. When a woman, she's not cut out to be a management staff. If a woman puts the picture of her family on her windowsill, they'll say, look at her, she's very sissy. But if a man puts it, they'll say, oh, a caring man. So definitely we had all these challenges. I had challenges, and I looked up to my mentors, those who have passed the way I passed. At a time, I had to call the first female ICANN woman, Mrs. Toyin Olakunrin, and I asked her, you have 6 children. How did you manage as a corporate woman those days? She said, it was tough. Because there was the times she will have to take her children and keep them in the office clinic. Not because they were ill, but because she had no alternative. But now we have graduated to having creches in the office. Those were things, you see, those who go ahead must do something for the women who are coming after. Gail Evans, she says, play like a man, win like a woman. I think it was in her book or somebody else's book that says there's a special place in hell for women who get to the top and don't help women who are upcoming.
To just throw the ladder
I know when I was management in Benin Owena, they said they were going to cut medical bills. And I said, for where? They said they will not take any woman who has antenatal bill. And I said, a guy can take his girlfriend and say she has fever. He can take his wife and say she has something else. But then she doesn't carry the pregnancy to the office. Now you are looking at us who will carry the pregnancy of the next generation to the office, and you are saying, I said, no, not under my watch. I was a very young girl, but I spoke out. And that policy stayed. You know, all these little things, and that's why we say, oh, the ground for the women play is not level. For every woman that does something, it's an addition. It's an addition. That is why we must train our girls to be resilient. Nobody hands you freedom or power on a platter of gold. Every one of us has a gift. Every one of us has a talent. Make sure you sing your song. And the truth of the matter is one little step at a time. And every time you make progress, clap for yourself. If you can only empower 6 girls, so be it. If you can empower 20 girls, so be it. That is reducing the number. So we as parents have to train our daughters. We as aunties have to train those who are coming behind us. Empowerment is very small. Just let somebody know that she can make it. Just encourage somebody. And out of the determination, the self-will, the self-discipline, one girl will be taken out of the poverty line. Central Bank did a whole lot.
Yeah, my guest, Mrs. Amange, has been really overwhelming, you know, in sharing her experiences with us and how it has been. And I think your story resonates with a whole lot of women, even at this stage and time. And I've seen several empowerment programs being run by government for the Nigerian girl child. Would you say we've done well? Would you say it's been very effective? Would you say that the people who are supposed to benefit from these empowerment schemes and programs have really benefited from it?
Well, because I don't have the statistics, I'm not going to rate you. But I'm going to say there are so many things out there. The first thing you do is knock on the door, whether it will open. A lot of us women, we are our own personal enemies. A guy has 40%, he will present himself for an interview. He thinks he can get that job. A woman has 90%. What she's seeing is, I don't have 10%. When this NISAL palliative came out, I know how many people I personally encouraged to go and apply. And they kept saying to me, we didn't know it was going to be true. We didn't know it was going to work. But men will apply first before they ask you whether it is true. The fact that these things are there, let women try, and then we can know whether it is successful. We have the micro, small and medium enterprises 220 billion fund with CBN. Because the government of the bank, the management of the bank then believed that when you empower a woman, you empower community. They will not use the money to marry. They will not use the money to buy a new car. They will not use the money to show off. So 60% of that money is dedicated to women. And the remaining 40% is for every other person, including women. Plus 2% for the challenged, whether physically challenged, audio, visual. The challenged people will get 20%. And for the sustainable banking, the Article 4 of it is just geared towards empowerment of women. There are many products that are geared towards women, but a lot of times we are ignorant.
I'll take a short break and I'll return. When I come back, we'll talk about mentorship, because I think it's something we lack in our system, and that is affecting the courage of a lot of women to dare things, even when others have gone that path. I'll take a short break. It's still Total Woman on AD4 TV Radio. We'll be right back.
I am a total woman.
So welcome back. This is Total Woman on AD4 TV Radio, and we've been talking with my guest, Mrs. Tokwe Omagi. Mentorship. The need for it cannot be overestimated. Do you think a lot of successful women are doing enough to mentor other women or to pass value to the younger generation? Because like we established that there were so many offers, but women are not strong, bold, or believe in themselves that they can do it. Where are we missing it in the area of mentorship?
You are right. We need mentorship. But then a lot of people will just assume she has made it. So she owes me the duty of mentoring me. She doesn't. Because she is struggling. From my mentorship relationship, I discovered that the senior woman is learning something from the young person. I give you an assignment, you do it all on media and IT. I'm not as tech savvy as you. I'm picking some things from you and you are picking from me. But unfortunately, the youths of today, they have this entitlement mentality. I believe in the Bible. I'm a pastor. And it says the older women have a duty to teach the younger women. And the younger women have a duty to learn. But a number of these people don't want to learn. Just empower me. And what they mean by, can I be your mentee, is can you be my financer? There are a number of mentors, but they are busy people. They are up there. They don't just want to pack people who have no seriousness or discipline. There was a girl, I told you I'm an EXCO member of Wimbies, and Wimbies is very strong in the line of mentorship because their vision is to be a catalyst to raise the status and influence of women, to empower them in nation building. So they have a lot of mentorship programs, direct and indirect. They have influenced so many people. If you see, we have an advocacy team that ensures corporates bring in women, you know, on their board and so on and so forth. And then young girls register to be mentored. We have a kind of Catch Them Young program. It's escaped me, but there's Winning Without Compromise, the program we have for university students, helping them to know that you can succeed without compromising. Everybody may have a story to tell, but live above your story.
So from your experience with mentorship, the mentees, because I read somewhere where someone, okay, a conversation with one of my friends, and someone said, oh, I want you to be my mentor. She said, how much do you know about me? He said, I just see you. The woman said, you can't ask to be my mentee when you don't know anything about me. Have you read my books? Do you know about me? He said, no. So I can relate when you say there's a lot of problems, you know, with mentoring people, and that a lot of young people are not ready. But are we really doing much?
I think we are doing much because, like you said, from 7.7% to, I think you said 45%, yes. That's not a mean feat. And when you realize that the women at the top are very few, and there are so many people to be mentored, Wimbies has influenced a number of establishments to have mentorship program. I know CBN had before, and Wimbies is trying to strengthen it. 2 weeks ago, Union Bank had their mentorship program. That is fixing some young persons to shadow some of these older people. You know, so if I'm a very busy executive, I won't pack 15 people who are not serious to waste my time. Like you said, somebody wants to be mentored. She has not read about me. She has not even planned her goals and what she wants to be and how she wants to go about it. Any day, anytime, mentorship is very good. You can choose your mentor one-on-one, and you can decide to read. There are some people who will go and read about Kamala Harris. How did she become who she became? Look at Oprah Winfrey. Yeah. I was planning to use her at the end to say, irrespective of your background, you may have been raped, you may have been battered, you may have come from a home where you were an orphan, but that is in your past. Decide where you want to be. So there are some people, they will just buy somebody's books, read about somebody, and they begin to shadow that person. They grow. That person is really serious. That's why I said, whatever you want to be, nobody will give to you on a platter of gold.
Oh my God, there's a lot of there's a lot we need to do as young women, as young girls, if we must succeed, and if we must bridge the gap. How do we begin to change this mentality of one, oh, girls are not valuable; two, entitlement mentality; three, let's leave the menial ones for them because they are women, and let's take the big ones because we are men. How can we begin to change that mentality?
Okay, we have to work for it. Who works for it? The whole society. It takes two parents to bring up a child. If only the mother does, if it's the best in that situation, the child will manage. If the husband does, if it's the best for that situation, well, the child will do well. But the two hands must wash to have a properly clean hand. Both parents must teach all the children from cradle, one, some amount of resilience. Everything will not be 100% of the time. So when you get it well, rejoice. When you don't get it right, learn from it. So already you teach your children resilience, you teach your children hard work, you teach your children honesty. When we have the moral foundation, then somebody will not expect me to work and continue to give her the money. Somebody comes to me for support first time. You come to me second time. If you come the third time, I'll ask you, what do you want to do? What can I help you do?
I think we all should begin to ask that question.
Yes, what would you want me to help you do? The generational laxity is so much. The parents owe a duty to train their children from home. I saw something on WhatsApp about one boy that said he was going to gather 7 of his friends to go and rape a girl. Where did we get it wrong? That boy has not been prepared to be a man. Then when he gets married, he begins to pound his wife. He begins to do all sorts of things. It has been faulty from the beginning. Teach women to honor themselves. There was a girl of this Kogi commissioner that the man arranged for people to beat up and raped her. But even the girl was scared to say on camera that this, he said he slept with me. And the person interviewing was saying, did you enjoy it? Did you ask for it? She said, no. Then he didn't sleep with you, he raped you. So we should teach our girls to speak up. Your body is your own. Be proud of it. Defend it with all that is in you. Don't give your body cheaply. Some people will say, oh, if I don't sleep with him, somebody else will sleep with him and get that job. I will boo you. Because the men who get there, they don't have double brains. Neither do you have half. So if it takes work, work hard. I said it that most of the women who have gotten to the top, they have their stories. There were days I will cry that I want to leave my job when I was head of banking in Jos. And my husband will say, it will be well. Take it easy. Take it easy. I bore all the trauma of that period in my career. And the next thing, I got a deputy director. The next thing, I was director branch operations. The next thing, I was director finance. And I said to myself, of all the directorates, if they were to give me director of finance, I won't take because it's a tough job. But the day I was going to assume duty in finance department, the whole department came to rejoice and welcome me. The department I was coming from, they followed me. I had forgotten the fact that I said I wasn't going to take. And they made it easy for me. And I tried. When I got there, I saw the ladies. They said they were being overworked. And even nobody would come and speak to them, let alone find somebody to marry. I said, oh. But the beauty of it is, I didn't come out direct, but I made the environment such a conducive place that by the time I left, it was only one lady that was not married yet. Because we have to have a work-life balance. And those of us who are women that have made it, like I said, we have a duty to train the ones that are coming after us, but they should be ready to learn.
Thank you so much. Mrs. Abangi, I think that's what we'll call it all for the program today. It's been amazing listening to you. I became a mentee under you right now, learning quite a lot about balance, about resilience, about our responsibility as women to ourselves, and responsibility of older women to younger ones coming up. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, your life, and offering to expose us to the need for mentorship in our society. Thank you so much, Mom.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so that's it for Total Woman this week. Next week, I'll be coming again with another amazing subject, topic, and guests. Please, whatever you do, you owe it to your children to raise them well. See you next week. Bye-bye.